You screwed it up.
Lazy 99.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Lazy 99 video. This is going to be a spoiler-full review. I'm going to spoil the heck out of this movie, but if you want just a quick explanation, don't see it. It's not good. Not even okay. So I'm going to be spoiling every big part of this movie. So let's just start with the biggest problem with this movie. It's a lie. I mean, the trailer is a lie. The entire premise that we were shown is a straight up lie. What were we told? What were we told from the trailer? What did I discuss with my brother what we got from the trailer? This is going to be a story about Iron Man and the Mandarin battling it out. The big epic fight between the Iron Man and his top nemesis.
Ladies, children, sheep. Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
That's not what we got here. Not even slightly. What's the biggest problem with this movie? Oh, the Mandarin's not actually in this movie. Oh no, he's in it. Let's just say he's an idiot. And I'm not even saying that the character isn't handleable and he does dumb things. I mean, he's actually a bubbling moron. Ben Kingsley doesn't play a mastermind that is behind all of this other stuff. He plays a pawn in the real villain, played by Guy Pearce, who's just making a face of evil for everyone to latch onto. If everyone latches onto this face of evil, then he will be able to do his evil stuff under the scenes. And he won't be blamed for it because everyone thinks it's the Mandarin. So, when the truth is revealed, it turns out that the Mandarin is just like, I'm just an actor. I don't actually know anything. What do you do? I'm serious, he is that pathetic. That pathetic. Shane Black, did you even read an Iron Man comic? Or the writers, did you guys even read or look up on the Mandarin what he was? Seriously? The Mandarin is Iron Man's biggest villain and you made him a moron. You made him a straight up idiot. And you made him a pawn in this other guy who, I have no idea who he is. I'm a big comic book fan. I don't know who this Guy Pearce's character, I don't know who he is. And you screwed up the biggest villain, made the villain an idiot. This is on the same level if during halfway through The Dark Knight, you just realized that the Joker wasn't really behind anything. It was a mob pretending someone who was really evil. It was just an idiot playing an actor. That is what this is. It is really, the Mandarin is really just an idiot, an actor who's pretending to be all evil and stuff. Seriously? Seriously? My gosh. What? I don't get the thinking of this. What is the thinking of this? That, oh, the big fans that love Iron Man, they're just gonna love us taking his biggest villain, making him a real moron. What? And then, as I said, the story isn't about Iron Man and the Mandarin going up against each other, so what's the real story? Well, it's Extremis. Iron Man Extremis. If you don't know what that is, well, just watch the Iron Man Extremis digital comics. You can find them on Netflix there. It's a good story. Way better than this! Extremis is basically, you punch this chemical into you and it's supposed to rewrite your DNA. Not that it explains it all that well in this story. It says, okay, there's this open slot in your brain and we can fill that slot with another thing that I guess gives you heat powers and able to breathe fire. That doesn't make any sense. The whole purpose of Extremis is what it did is it took you and rewrote your DNA, made your entire body think it was something else, and therefore mutated into something different. This is just like, yeah, there's this empty slot in the brain, and then yeah, you fill that slot, then you can breathe fire. It's the entire plot around this film is supposed to be this Extremis story, and it's not interesting. And Guy Pearce is okay, let's look at Guy Pearce as the villain, this Killian, whoever he is, guy. And what's his motivation? Well, in 1999, he was in an elevator with Tony Stark, and Tony Stark said, "Hey, I want to work with you. Let's go up to the roof in 5 minutes." But Tony Stark was really lying to get him out of the way, and so then the guy goes on the roof, and he's sitting up there for an hour, and then he's like, "Oh, he's actually not coming. Yeah, I want revenge." This is the dumbest villain motivation since plants are whatever. You know, this is stupid. Straight up stupid. That, oh, he didn't meet me on a rooftop, that's why I want revenge. Sure, I guess he really does want control over, I guess, the United States, and he's using this Mandarin to get him, but there's no actual interconnection between this Guy Pearce guy and Iron Man. I mean, my gosh. This is like one of the... This is just up there with... It was really Talia al Ghul behind everything the whole time. No, it's even worse than that. Because at least with The Dark Knight Rises, Bane was a central character to the bad guy and her plot. He was a central part of it. He did a lot of it. He was a main plot. Here it's just the Mandarin. He's like, "Don't hit me. I'm just an actor." You take Iron Man's biggest villain and you make him that? Where's the thinking process behind this? Where did they think, oh, this is going to be something that the fans will enjoy? I don't get it. This is the biggest form of bait and switch that I've ever seen. You know, the trailer shows up a big epic battle between Iron Man and the Mandarin. That's not what you're getting. Here you go. And, okay, and then there's a lot of stuff that's just not resolved. Okay, Iron Man starts having these anxiety attacks because of stuff that happened in the Avengers. Well, why is he having them? He just says, you experience things, and then they're over. Which just sounds good in the trailer, but they don't delve upon it. They don't dive into that. They don't explain what is wrong. What can he not explain how he lived? Is he just afraid that, oh, there's aliens out there? It's never explained, and it's never resolved. So, throughout the entire first half of the movie, Iron Man is having these panic attacks. He's like, and you think, okay, well, he's struggling through a lot of stuff. Never resolved. At the end, it never shows up again, and never comes back into the main story. It's just, he stops having them. And to make these villains, these, like, glowing heat things that just, if they try to grab you, they'll melt you. It makes them all these just... They're basically soldiers. They're henchmen, just really powerful ones. It's dumb that way. You know, at the end, they throw this thing with Guy Pearce is like, I was the Mandarin the whole time. Oh yeah, it's a good thing they decided to... It's right off the page from the Mandarin. A white guy who has fire powers and he hates Iron Man because he didn't meet him on a rooftop, and he that's nothing like the Mandarin. Not even close. I mean, like Ben Kingsley, he's not exactly Chinese, or I don't know what nationality it is, but at the very least you had some feeling that he could play an ethnic, you know, another nationality. This is Guy Pearce. We know he's not like foreign. I mean, I don't know anything about Guy Pearce, but you know, he's a white guy. I don't know. It's not the Mandarin. I mean, this, you know what this is trying to be? This is trying to be the whole that Henry Ducard was Ra's al Ghul the whole time. The only difference is that's handled well because it's set up well, it's portrayed well, and there's a good, like, I don't, what is the point in having, you know, what is the point in having him really be the Mandarin the whole time? Because I don't get it. I really don't get it, because we know he's a villain. We can tell by the first scene we see him in that he's going to be a villain. And I would have been fine with him if he was a support villain for the Mandarin, you know, just like, you know, Justin Hammer was in the other one, in Iron Man 2. I would have been fine if he was a support villain, you know, just supporting the Mandarin with all of his tech and information. But no, he's the main villain, and the Mandarin is an idiot. Okay, I'm harping on this point too much. Let's say, what are the good things about it? Robert Downey Jr. and this kid. But Robert Downey Jr. sells every scene he's in. He tries to sell every part of this movie as hard as he can. I guess him and Pepper Potts, but, you know, because they just always have a good dynamic with each other. But there's just so many, like, there's a random character of, ex-fling from his past shows up, and it's from the Extremis comics, only she's thrown in there, and then, oh, she's not supposed to be a bad guy, then she's a bad guy, then she's not, then she's dead. And it happens so quickly, you're like, why did you didn't need that character in the movie. You could have really just left her out. Okay, if you wanted to do the Extremis story so badly, if you really wanted to go this route and do the story of Extremis, then do the flippin' story of Extremis. Leave the Mandarin out of it for another film. You just took this character and ruined it and absolutely destroyed it for good. What, is the next movie a guy's like, you know, I saw this stuff on the Mandarin and so I will be the real Mandarin? No, that's not going to happen. It's not, because that would be stupid. Even not as stupid as this is, but there's a good character dynamic between Iron Man and this kid that he meets up. But there's so many plot holes. Like, Iron Man says, oh, I need to get to Tennessee, but then the house blows up, and so then he blacks out in his armor, and the armor takes him halfway to Tennessee or something like that, and you're like, what? Why did that happen? What is the point? I was really bugged when Pepper was the one that gave the final blow, because right now Pepper has actually defeated more of the main bad guys than Iron Man has, because she was the one that hit the switch and destroyed, you know, Ironmonger in the first film, and now she's the one that deals the finishing blow to this guy. Ugh. Shane Black, I'm sure you're a nice guy, and that you have some good movies on your belt that you've written and heck, maybe even directed, but as far as I'm concerned, you're going to go down in history with such comic book movie creators as Brent Ratner, Ang Lee, and Joel Schumacher. So let's talk about the action scenes. Well, they're okay. They're entertaining, I guess, but there's nothing really memorable about it. The one scene in the first Iron Man movie where Iron Man blows up a tank that's like 5 seconds long is more memorable than every action scene in this entire movie. And it did give away too much stuff in the trailer. It really did. It showed all of these different scenes that are going to happen, so it's no shock to the audience. And the only real shock is one that pisses everybody off. And then they have they had this small point that undermines the entire second movie. I'm serious. There's one little line one little scene that takes away so much from the second movie. I mean, he's like, you know, I was like, I guess when it came to a time where I wondered, do I really need shrapnel in my heart? And I guess I don't. And so he has an operation, takes the shrapnel out of his heart. The entire second movie was about him trying to find a new element, so the thing that was keeping the shrapnel out of his heart wouldn't kill him. You know, that was the entire second movie. If it just took one quick operation, well, I wonder why the genius of Tony Stark didn't think to actually have the shrapnel removed from his body. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I do that earlier rather than trying to find and invent an entirely new element so I could live? You know, you think that would be the first thing he would consider if it was just that easy. The first thing that he would do if it was just so easy just to get the shrapnel out of his body was go to a hospital. You know what? I don't... And Rhodey's in this film, but he doesn't really do anything. And here's a real good question. Why the heck? Why on earth did they make it Iron Patriot? Okay, why? Iron Patriot in the comic books is Norman Osborn, who takes, you know, the Iron Man armor and combines it with a look of Captain America, names himself Iron Patriot so he can be an evil guy with, you know, so he can be an evil villain with an Iron Man armor, but he's pretending to be he's the good guy. That was the whole story of Dark Avengers with Iron Patriot. Here's the thing. Iron Patriot's Rhodey. It's War Machine, just in the Iron Patriot color. Why the heck did you need to name it Iron Patriot? Why did you put that in here? What was the point? See, what I was thinking is that the other guy, the Guy Pearce character, was going to be able to, he was going to acquire the Iron Patriot armor, and he would be the Iron Patriot, the guy pretending to be the hero when he's really the villain. I thought that was what it was going to be. But no, it's basically just Rhodey, and it gets hijacked once, but screw that, who cares? And there's a scene where, like, all these Iron Man armors are coming up, and Rhodey's like, okay, give me an armor. And he's like, yeah, they're only for my genetic code. That's interesting. And how did Rhodey take it in the second movie? Maybe it's an update. Wouldn't he have updated Rhodey's armor then? How could Rhodey's armor then be just hijacked? You think he would have updated an armor that's being used by, you know, a top head of the army state guy? You know what? I bet if you just stop this movie in the middle, people would say, "What is everyone complaining about? It's a good movie." Because, like, there's stuff that is kind of cool about it. When you think that the Mandarin is the villain, there's a part in it where you realize, holy crap, you thought from the scenes that you saw that he was overseas in some desert country, but he was really just in, like, Miami and using special effects and makeup and set design to make it look like he was in a foreign country. That is smart, that he was really right under their noses the whole time, and they could never tell because he was... First of all, most of his attacks were in other countries, and second of all, because it looked like from all the videos he was showing that he was in another country. But he was right under the noses. I thought that was smart. But then, I'm just an actor, don't hurt me. Ben Kingsley, I'm sorry, but you have got to stop acting. I'm not anything against you. I'm sure you were great in Gandhi, and I'm sure you've done a lot of great things. But you become like the GOAT of Hollywood. I thought that this was going to be the movie that got you right back on track. You know, just like, I don't know, just like Robert Downey Jr. That Iron Man did this. But no, this is not getting you right back on track. Might get you in the public eye a little more, but as back on track, no, this is not the movie. Because you do not play a cool, dark villain. Well, you kind of do for half of it, but then it turns out, hey, I'm just an idiot. This movie has the exact same problems as Spider-Man 3. It tries to cram two things together. First half of the movie, or maybe a quarter, is Iron Man versus the Mandarin. Then the rest is supposed to be the Who extremist plot. I have not been this disappointed in a movie in a long time. And a very long time. You know, when was the last time? I think it was X-Men 3. Yeah, that was... I haven't been disappointed in a movie so much since X-Men 3. Before that, probably Superman Returns. But what we have here, I'm just going to recap and then end this off. What we have here is a movie that kind of has a couple of good qualities to it. Tony Stark and this kid play off of each other really well. You know, Tony Stark and Pepper are good. But then you have... filled with pointless characters. You have mindless villains that they may be powerful, but they're not memorable and they're not menacing. You have action scenes that are pretty darn forgetful. You have a character that is such a big deal in the comic books and the source material where it's from, and they made They took the character and they destroyed him. And you have a movie that it's not loyal to fans, it's not fully entertaining to watch on its own, and its main villain is just dumb and boring and outright has the worst, even more worse than Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze. That's right, has the worst inspiration to be a villain ever. Because at least Mr. Freeze, he had that thing with his wife. Wasn't handled well, but at least he had something. Poison Ivy, well, she was nuts, so she didn't really have a motivation. But this guy, I was waiting at the rooftop for someone famous who said he wanted to meet me, but he didn't. No, he didn't. I would be a bad guy now. So, Jon Favreau, you left to do Cowboys and Aliens, and this is what we got. You're just as much to blame. I'm dumbfounded. They pulled a bait and switch on us. We thought we were getting this story, but we were getting this story. I'm at a loss for words. Well, I'm not a loss for words. I just said a whole bunch, but I don't get the logic. This movie, not only is it not as good as the other two, out of the newest Marvel movies that have come out, out of all the new ones, from Iron Man to now, this is the worst. Absolutely the worst out of all of them. I mean, this actually makes me think Iron Man 2, it puts that in a whole lot light, because there might be some stuff about Iron Man 2 that bugged me, but for the whole, it had a good villain, it had a good story, and it had a pacing good, and all the plots were resolved by the end. Here, it's filled with plot holes. It's filled with it undermines the entire last film, and it just, I can't get over what they did with the Mandarin. Okay, taking my fanboyism out of it, taking my entire thing for that out of it, I still don't like it because they lied to us. They literally lied to us through the trailer. Look, I'm okay if you have a switch as long as it's respectful to the characters and you know it gives you a surprise. Who's surprised that Guy Pearce is a villain? No one. And it's not a good twist. It is. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap up because there's nothing more do I have to say to this. This is one of the most disappointing experiences of my life. So I'm going to give Iron Man 3, ironically, a 3 out of 10. Thor, you got your work cut out for you. Because if it's anything like this, then all your hopes is in Joss Whedon. Remember, guys, I'm LazyDude99, and I'm gonna watch Iron Man.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.